Hi, everybody. My name is Ben Conroy with the National Sports Media Association. Today, I'm speaking with the 2022 South Carolina Sportscaster of the Year, Mr. Scott Eisberg. Scott, thank you for taking the time today.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do it.
All right, so I wanted to start from the beginning here. I was wondering if you could maybe tell me how you got into the world of sports media, what your first job was, and then sort of talk me through your career path on the way to now at WCIV.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I'm like everybody else who probably wanted to get into sportscasting for the same reason. We were uh, loved sports, but not very good at playing them. Knew there was not going to be a future on the field, so let's do it off the field and be a sportscaster. So I found a great journalism program, University of South Carolina. To me, the most important thing with that was that decision was that they had a daily news show. So we did a newscast every single day at 5 o'clock. And so I kind of got used to those deadlines right away. Like I knew how to find a daily story, or I knew how to put everything together and have that one deadline that I had to hit every single day. And so it was a great experience at the University of South Carolina. And I had two great internships at WCIV in Charleston, ironically, and I think it shows the power of an internship, how you can eventually end up where you wanted to be, because Charleston's an amazing place to live. So, yeah, so I interned here for 2 summers, and luckily, the guy that I interned for, his name was Josh Morton, who's out of the business now, but he had a connection in Greenville, South Carolina, and kind of made a call, and next thing you know, I'm taking my first job at WYFF in Greenville. I was the number 4 guy in the sports department, but luckily I got to learn from some of the absolute best people that I know, and people that were really good at their jobs, and kind of got me ready for that second job, and then the third job, which got me back here to Charleston.
Awesome. That's a good segue into my next question. What's your favorite part about working for WCIV and living in the city of Charleston?
Yeah, and just living in Charleston, it's the best. Beautiful place, great people, and a really, really diverse and varied sports scene. I don't know if I'd be great living in a place where there was one thing. I don't know if I'd be great living in a place where, a good example might be, Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's the University of Arkansas, University of Arkansas, University of Arkansas. Like, I don't think I could do that. Here in Charleston, we've got South Carolina and Clemson. We've got 3 Division I mid majors in the Citadel, College of Charleston, and Charleston Southern. We've got great high school stuff, but then we also have a professional golf tournament. We have a huge women's tennis tournament, which is that's my favorite thing of the whole year is the tennis tournament, because it's just so different from things that we would normally cover. It's just a total release for a week of the normal day to day. And so there's just so much going on here that I think Charleston's a great market for always keeping you on your toes and never being bored.
Absolutely. I've been to Charleston. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
So my next question is, if you had to speak with a young person or a college student who is looking to sort of crack into the world of sports media, what advice would you give them?
Do internships and work your butt off. That's what I did. I interned over the summer, and I literally worked 6 days a week probably, and never missed a story or never missed an opportunity to pick up a camera, never missed an opportunity to get a rep on the desk, never missed an opportunity to shoot a stand up or put the story together. And I think it impressed the people that I worked for. They ultimately made that call to get me my first job. And then ultimately 2 years later, they called me and said, "Hey, do you want to come back to where you started an intern?" And I did that, and now I've been here over 16 years. First as a weekend sports anchor, and then as a sports director. So to me, the most important thing is make that connection when you're interning, and you never know how that'll help you down the line. And the other thing is just to always kind of uh, keep your ear to the ground for great stories, because I think it doesn't matter whether you're in college or in that first job, second job, third job. If you tell a great story, people will take note.
Absolutely. You touched on something pretty impressive, 16-year career. Obviously, I'm sure you've covered a lot of great stories and great people. What are some of your favorite moments over the course of your career?
Oh man, that's really tough. I think there's a great moment for me. I'm from New York, so I had never covered anything in New York. So getting to go back to New York in 2017 when the South Carolina Gamecocks punched a ticket to the Final Four at Madison Square Garden was a pretty cool moment for me for the fact that I was reporting live at Madison Square Garden where I had grown up going to games. I mean, to me, that was kind of a surreal moment. I just, I'm sitting there going, wow, I don't think I'm ever going to work in New York, but I've made it to New York and I'm reporting from Madison Square Garden. So I think that was one of those surreal moments for me. Here in Charleston, I love the town so much, and I love the sports history that we can make here. Um, so I don't know if it's a great moment, but memorable moment for me would be we had a coach here named John McKissick, who is a coach at one high school for 63 years, winningest coach at any level. He was at Somerville High School and an incredible man. I covered the final decade of his career. Was able to break the story when he retired, and then ultimately, I had a report on his death, and but I also felt like it was some of the most meaningful reporting we had done, going back and looking at his career and his life and the impact he had in a town, reporting from his funeral, and it was some of the best work that I've done. So certainly not a moment that you go, man, I've always wanted to report from a high school coach's funeral, but I think it's also one of the more meaningful stories that I've done.
Right, definitely some important work there. My next question is about receiving this award. As somebody who has, spent a long time in this business, what does it mean to have your work recognized with a Sportscaster of the Year award voted on by your peers?
That's the thing, is the peers part. I've won other awards, the best of Charleston and stuff like that, which is, it's nice. It's certainly nice to get a pat on the back. There's not many careers where you can get a pat on the back. But that being said, it's one thing when you can get voted on by the community. I mean, it's nice. I'm not going to say anything is not nice to get a pat on the back, but to have it done by the people that you work alongside, your colleagues, the people who are doing the same job that you are, and they understand and appreciate the work that you're doing, I think means more than anything. Just because, there are people that I work alongside, or I'm at games covering, or I'm on stories at the same time as, who I respect immensely, who have been doing it a lot longer than I have. And if they're voting, then that means a lot to me.
Absolutely. Um, Last question here. Is there anything coming up in 2023 that you're especially excited to work on or cover? Any big stories you're looking forward to?
Um, I mean, I would venture to think right now that I mean, you never know, but I would venture to think that we'll have an NCAA tournament to cover with the College of Charleston. As we tape this interview, they're 21-1. They're on a 20-game win streak. And I would venture to think that that would be culminating in an NCAA tournament. So those are always fun to cover. I was there with the College of Charleston when they went to San Diego a couple of years ago, almost pulled an upset of Auburn, and that was fun, just because the NCAA tournament to me is that event that's just, it's so cool. It's just such a cool. Everyone's into it, and especially in a town like this where the College of Charleston is kind of the big draw in town. That'll be a fun thing to do. I would venture to think that the College of Charleston baseball team's got a pretty good team this year. Maybe they make a trip to the baseball tournament, which I've covered before, but I've never covered Omaha. I'd like to cover the College World Series in Omaha. I've never gotten to do that before. But I think ultimately the things that I'm looking forward to most are just seeing the triumphs of our high school kids on the field. I still get a kick at a signing day every year, watching those kids and all the years that they've put into signing that scholarship, getting that opportunity to do so. I still get a thrill out of seeing that. And so signing day to me never gets old. Um, Carolina Clemson football never gets old because it means a lot to people here. And the tennis tournament is always great because I talked about it earlier, just something that sets us apart. So there are things that I just kind of look forward to every year. But if I were to circle one thing, I would assume it would probably be an NCAA tournament this year with the College of Charleston basketball team.
Absolutely. Certainly a lot to look forward to there. Scott, thank you for taking the time today and congratulations again.
Thanks so much. Nice talking to you.